So now we've got our room with our new content, and what we can do is we can take away the old panoramas, and that's now updated to the new version. So now we can see we've got our new variant we've just done, we've got the original, and we can blend between them. So when we publish, we have the two variants, and we'll be able to blend between the two variants.
And so, there was another option of how to show a before and after?
Yeah, sure. So in this tour, we don't have, in the room editor, we just have the blend. But when we go to, I'll nix this because it's not a completed variant. It's just the one I was working on. But we've got our two main variants there. If I go to the tour editor, we've got a choice about how we want to present this in the final UI. So I'm going to go to my design view, and here I can decide what kind of comparison I want. So here's my tour, I can move around it. It's the one shoot I've got there. If I go to side by side, at the moment I'm saying original. Obviously I want to be original versus renovated. So we've got the two different variants there, and there could be, there could be a long list. It could be a series of dates of construction phases or whatever. It's not, it's not just one or the other. So we're actually loading up the second one. So now I've got my side-by-side comparison.
Awesome.
So that's how that works.
Okay. Could we finish up on how to do a virtual tour of a space that has not yet been built?
Yes. So let's say we're in Revit. We have an architectural design. This is one of the Revit demo scenes. I'm not a Revit user, so I'm a bit out of my depth in Revit, and it's not a simple application. The way it works is we have a plugin, which would be, it's in here in the add-in section. And what you do is you're going to create, for your 3D views, you're going to create a camera called Metareal something for every camera that you want to render as a 360 panorama. And then you're going to call our add-in, which I don't have because I'm in Revit 22, and I had trouble installing it in 22 today. So I'm able to show the Revit side of it and the Metareal side of it. I can't go through the export process right now.
So suffice to say, there's a few options here. If you're working in any CAD program, Revit, SketchUp, that enable the exporting of a 360, either through the Metareal Stage plugin integration, or if you can just export 360s on their own.
Right.
That's kind of one module. The second is you may literally work with a virtual staging company or a virtual staging AI that lets you take your existing spaces and virtually stage them. And the question I've actually asked Gareth is, well, how do you do pre-visualization of a space that has not been built? But it also applies to virtual staging, where you've gotten 360s you've virtually staged existing 360 panels
from a service
provider. The workflow from here is going to be identical.
Yeah. So in this case, we have a plugin for Revit, so you can export. It'll kick off an Autodesk Cloud 360 render. It'll take the panoramas. It'll take a low version of the mesh and package that as a zip file that we can just import directly into Metareal. If you're working with 3D Max or SketchUp, you have a few more steps because you actually have to create the zip file yourself. But it's not hugely complicated. So if I go into this, this is the Metareal project that results from that tour. So we've got 4 cameras in that scene, and we can see those panoramas there. And we've also got a geometry which we've imported, which is a mesh geometry that's from Revit. And we've also imported the pano coordinates from the Revit environment. So our plugin basically generates those 3 files.